This conference will now be recorded.
All right, it is 6:02, and we're going to go ahead and call this BHPC meeting to order. Roll call tonight. Roxanne Sorrell is here. Paul Boatwright is here. Billie Jean Kretzer is not here today. Gail McClellan is here. Pamela Prescott Capps is not here. Wendy Cambridge is here. Our HPO Lydia Nino is not here tonight. So we do have 3 commissioners other than the chair. So we have a quorum. Welcome to our guests and citizens. I do believe we have a speaker signed up this evening, Mrs. Susan Moore.
Yes.
And you have a specific topic that you'd like to speak on. Would you like to speak on it now, or would you like to note that it's related to a specific item?
Well, it's related to Nino's ordinance on banners. So whenever you would like me to speak to that, this fine. I don't have anything from him, so I don't know what he has submitted to you, nor what it looks like, nor what his questions would be. But I can speak to what I know now if you would like.
Would you, let's go ahead and have you speak now. And we'll. So Chair recognizes Susan Moore. Is it under the capacity of P&Z, or is this your personal?
This is what was passed at the P&Z a year ago.
Okay.
I'm going to give you copies of the information that I have from the notes from the planning building. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see. And I guess from the,
It's right now. I think it's good.
last year, I made a response to Nino that the P&Z had passed in July 6th of 2020 after some discussion regarding the requests for variance on the timeline from 30 days to 3 months for the banners to be hung on the light post. And Commissioner Perkins made a motion to approve the request for the banners to be put up this year for 3 months from the date of installation. Commissioner Anderson seconded the motion, and the commissioners unanimously approved. The banners stayed up the entire year. That was not what the P&Z understood at the time that Nino came to the Planning and Zoning Commission. And so I have given you a summary of the sign ordinance regarding banners being placed on the poles. And I know that one of the other things that Nino may be bringing up would be the highlight the ordinance for the banners that are the highway, and it was misquoted. Didn't finish it, but it's 18 feet above the street, above the roadway, not just 18 feet. That's kind of where it stopped. And the banners themselves, I just gave you a little summary, and you can look that up in the BHPC code, and I've attached the BHPC code to that. And I just wanted to bring up that we passed it last year for an extension of 3 months from the date of installation, but it was there all year. And so if you want to do something different, I would just request that you bring it before us, and it will be before the commission again. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, because are we getting new banners put up?
We're still in the process of approving them.
Oh, really?
I think, because we have the colors and we have the basic design, but there's some font choices, is my understanding. Is that anybody else's recollection?
I thought we were approved them. I guess I made mine too soon.
We may have, I've got to go back to my notes. All right, so they are down now, though.
They are down.
They are down now.
Yeah.
I noticed that one of them actually got ripped.
Can I ask questions at this time?
I don't think we're, unless it's an agenda item, I don't know that we can discuss it. We're not looking at it right now. If we're okay with it, we'll go ahead and move on to new business. Consider, discuss, and take appropriate action on the following. And item number 1 is approving the agenda, and it has been proposed by more than one person, including myself, that we try to have a hard stop at 6:45 because we have other commitments. So to do that, we'll want to go ahead and move all of the action items to the front of the agenda. So would we like to move those action items up to the front of the agenda?
I'll make that motion that we move the action items up to the beginning of the meeting of the agenda, so we can have a hard stop at 6:45.
All right. And all in favor? All right, so we unanimously are going to move action items up to the front of the agenda. So going through this, we're going to look at everything that needs a vote. Item number 2 on the new business is consideration of the minutes, and I do not have those minutes ready for you all right now. So we can motion to table if anybody would like to.
Motion to table the approval of the minutes of October 25th to our next meeting in January.
I second that motion.
All right, so motion to table by Cambridge and second by Boatright. All in favor? Passes unanimously. Item number 3 is choosing a good day in the beginning of next year, 2022, for a THC, Texas Historical Commission virtual meeting by Lorelei Willett, who is the certified local government representative, to discuss the grants being offered. What, if any, action should we take on this? Or we can table it when we have a bigger group.
No, let's go ahead and table that.
But we'll definitely want to make sure that we address this in January. All right, so do I have a motion to table?
I make a motion to table.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right. All in favor? Okay. Item number 4, City Code 1111 ordinance amending Article 26.07. Sign limits of the city code to update section 26.06.054. Banners over Highway 281 at the Historic District Square. Create utility post banners, also known as streetlight banners, standards and regulations, applicant and guidebook. And that was something that we, our HPO, would have presented. And I don't know that we can take any action on that.
Yeah, because I don't know, we don't have any information. Yeah,
All right, would we like to motion to table?
I make the motion to table.
Do we have a second?
Second that.
All in favor? Passes.
May I speak?
You are recognized to speak, ma'am.
Thank you. In regards to this city code and the ordinance related to, I would strongly recommend all of us read that before the next meeting, so we are as informed as we possibly can be.
And I think this is related to what our P and Z chair was commenting on, so we do need to look at this. All right. These are notes, I believe, from the HPO report. These were recommended action items. Okay, wait. We have some subsections on recommended actions.
Well, I don't think we can do that since we didn't make any motion on it.
Yeah, highlighting an ordinance on banners, that relates to item number 4. Highlight an ordinance on banners number 281 is related to new business item number 4. Current fence ordinance, new application. This is an HPO item, I think, and I don't have any information about this at this time. Item number 4 was the HPO report, certificate of appropriateness for cuts and curls. And I do have a note from our HPO, which I'm going to read you in full. This was sent to me and the city secretary from Rudy Nino. And I'll go ahead and read you the full thing so that I'm not omitting anything or editing. Hi, Roxanne. Wendy, Gale, and Hollis will be attending tonight's meeting in person. I met with Dahlia last week with cuts and curls on Pecan Street next door to the drugstore. She understands that her request does not meet the UDC. She and her husband will plan for a new sign and pull a new COA. Can you go ahead and highlight my HPO report? The COA was denied in parentheses. And the COA for cuts and curls COA, it can get approved with modifications based on my HPO report, so we can close this particular case. My other reports can wait until January 2022. I will not be able to make it today. Feel free to call me if you have any questions, and have a good meeting. Thank you, Randy. So the COA per Rudy's research was denied.
He's gonna make a call and use COA. Is that correct?
I think he might be suggesting that we could approve it with modifications, but you all might want to.
Want to know what the modifications are.
Not exactly. I don't think that we should preemptively approve things.
Yeah, I don't think we should approve it without knowing what the modifications are.
And I think, I would like to see a new report. And I think that we're in our deadline for responding to this, and they can resubmit. Does that sound like the administrator's knowledge or do you need my?
The only knowledge I have on it was that the sign was too large. And so they were having to scale back the sign. That's all that I didn't know that you all would require them to submit a new COA. I thought you would just do an amended version and, fix it. But I don't know what your procedure is.
Have we all had enough time to review this HPO's report and see whether or not he specifically mentioned that they would need to rescale the sign?
I don't recall reading that. I recall reading that it was inappropriate,
Yeah.
but I would say we need more information before
Mhm.
moving forward on this.
Okay, so I think the actions that we might consider taking regarding the COA and the HPO report is that we would approve the HPO report, which means that we agree with his findings, or we approve the findings in the HPO report. And if we do that, then we would actually deny the COA at this point and until they resubmit. So you all can decide what you would like to do regarding this.
I would make a motion to approve the findings of the HPO report and then have Rudy resubmit the modifications for the COA for cuts and curls.
I'll second that.
Discussion.
The, approve the okay, so we agree with the findings.
Identify.
I think that they need to resubmit their application.
Resubmit a whole new application?
I think so. I mean, they can just change the specific things in it that they would need to change, but that is up to you all.
Okay, when you said.
Because if it's wrong-
Modification, does that mean just fixing the old one or resubmitting?
Well, we can make them resubmit a new one.
Does the administrator know whether or not they need to completely resubmit it?
Madam Chair, members, I do not know. I've not been involved with this. The only thing that I was told was that it was too large. And so I don't know if there was other issues with it. It sounds like there was. So certainly.
Well, I know in the past that they have, when we did not approve it, they had a chance to modify their COA application and then we approved it. But since the timeline's passed, we might as well submit a new COA. He said submit a new COA in his letter to you.
He did, and he also recommended that we approve it if they're following his guidelines, so,
Okay, let's start that motion over.
okay.
Okay. We approve the findings of the HPO report, which he denied.
Okay.
And then to make,
Let's make that a separate motion.
okay,
So is that okay?
Yes.
All right, so Hollis, about right, motions to approve the findings of the HPO's report on the COA for cuts and curls,
Which was,
which was that the sign is not the right size, it has to be smaller.
and
And they're,
Out of compliance.
it's not in compliance with our UDC.
Yes. I believe you need to have that detail, the details in that, where it could get confused.
Well, it's just not clear cut. It's not. It's too fuzzy.
Mm.
Yeah.
So the motion that we're looking at right now is that we approve the report and its findings, and the report states that the current request is not in compliance with the UDC. Right, okay.
yes.
Would somebody like to say that?
I'll second it. We can take
Y'all
it.
seconds, all in favor? Okay, so then, as I understand it, the second action on the COA is that we can either ask them to resubmit with new details, or we can specify that it could be approved, given that they follow the HPO's recommendations. So how would we like to handle this?
We're discussing, so I would suggest that we identify to the submitter that corrections need to be made to their COA. And we will then review at that time with the submittal of the new details.
All right. So is that a motion?
No, that was,
That's just a discussion point. So the idea here is that we have them resubmit
Yes.
versus just saying HPO says you need to do this and you can do it as long as you promise, pinky promise that you're gonna do it the right way. We would actually like a resubmit.
Okay, will they have to pay a whole new, application fee?
I don't know the answer to that question.
is there a fee?
I think there is a fee.
Well, you could put in there that the new application fee would be waived.
Do we get to make that decision?
I don't know.
Well, we can make it, and then we can tell if we can't.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems the right thing to do, then.
It does.
See.
It does.
So they wouldn't have to pay another fee.
I agree. So it sounds like we need a new
COA.
COA with this, specifically the sign changes, or the sign, the size
Yeah.
changes.
Modifications they're gonna make.
All right, so what, and we would address this at our January meeting.
Yes.
Okay, what motion would we like to make?
I'd like to recommend the technical girls resubmit their COA with the to be in compliance with the
All right,
Madam Chair, you'll need to stop the meeting or recess the meeting because you don't have a quorum.
we're going to recess the meeting until our member comes back. And I'm gonna check my text. All right.
This conference will now be recorded.
Commissioner Boatright's back in the room. We had a very short pause. Commissioner Wendy Cambridge had recommended or moved to resubmit, or asked them to resubmit their COA with new specifications for bringing the sign into compliance with the UDC, and we need to make sure that they don't have to pay a fee
and
again.
recommend that the fee be waived for the resubmit.
All right, do we have a second?
I second that.
Commissioner Boatright seconds, all in favor? Okay, motion passes. So we are going to ask Cuts and Curls to resubmit that COA with dimensions that are within the UDC. All right, so that was item number 4 under our recommended actions from our CPO. A lot of what we're going into now is informational items. We have 10, 15 minutes to discuss these things. Let's all read through this and make sure there's no other action that needs to be taken this evening.
How about the letter of violation by Wendy? Have we approved that?
So have you gotten a chance to review that?
I did when I got it.
There are some, well, we're going to informational items basically here. I don't think we have any more votes.
So other than that notice, which was put down into old business that really does require action.
Okay, well, let's go through it then. We have time.
Okay. So the letter of violation has been rewritten to be more friendly, more user-friendly, and y'all have received that.
Yes.
Are there any questions regarding that letter of violation rewrite?
No, I thought it was good. I mean, I thought it was,
I think the friendlier you can be, the better.
yes, I think so. I think it was much better than the previous one.
Commissioner Hall? That being the case, I'd like to motion that we approve that revised letter of violation and submit to the city council or appropriate government entity for approval.
So Chairman Cambridge has moved, I'm sorry, Commissioner, come on.
Promotion.
I'm trying to promote you. Commissioner Cambridge has moved that we adopt the revised letter of violation that the BHPC would send out.
I second that motion.
All right?
You thought you were gonna slip that one by, didn't you? Get a new chair.
I know, yeah.
Oh, no. All right, so we have a motion to adopt a revised violation letter that has been approved by the commission or reviewed by the commission. Commissioner Boatright seconds. All in favor? All right, motion passes. All right. Are there any more? We can look under old business. Item number 1 is consideration and election of a new 2022 committee secretary. I'm gonna just nominate everybody. Not me, Jared. Yeah,
You know what I was,
we can't nominate Billie Jean, can we?
no, we can't. She
But you
repeated
know,
it.
when they're absent, you know, that's when they get.
What? Pam, Mike,
That's what I was all about.
I was gonna bring up for discussion on that matter, that perhaps we could take turns for next year. Break it into, just revolve all the way through the year.
I don't feel like I know enough about what's going on yet to be a secretary. But I don't mind doing it once I get my legs under me in August, September, and October, I work a lot of nights and I have a hard time being here. It's part of November. And after that, though, I'm pretty faithful.
we can put you on at the beginning of the year.
Or maybe at the end of the year. Well, no, in the middle of the year.
Not the third quarter, first and second quarter.
Let's just put you at the end of the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, you know, maybe into April or May or something. I'm willing to do it, I just wouldn't really understand all the ins and outs right now.
Well, we do record these.
Oh, as long as I've got a recording. I got-
And when I do it, which I am not very good at, I'm obviously taking notes off of the agenda and I've got 2 working sets of notes and I know that the other people that have done it in the past are making recordings. We do have an official recording. We didn't always have one in the past. I think that the HPO was making his own recording.
So where do we get this from the city office?
Yes,
Okay, she'll give us a copy of the recording, or do we go listen to it, or how do we do that?
Lori can send you the link to it.
Oh,
That's good.
well, that would be great.
Takes a lot of the mystery out of your notes.
It does.
So I'll volunteer to be first.
All right. Is this an action item? Are we voting on this? How do you want to handle this? Or do you just want to volunteer? hopefully we actually get somebody to be the official secretary later, or.
Well, because one of the things that's so confusing to me about blocking a night is when the meeting is canceled and I blocked a work night and then it's canceled. And I let part of it, so I don't block them. I didn't block them anymore after. So at any rate, if I know I'm gonna be here, I think switching it around is good, because the secretary may not be here.
Well, and I think just to note, probably what we need to do is, the meeting is when it is. And if you've committed to showing up, go ahead and show up. And if people can't be here, then they're absent.
Yeah.
Just period. And the administrator would like to make a comment or advice.
I don't know, I don't have your bylaws with me, but your bylaws might specify that you elect a secretary.
They do.
Okay, so you would need to amend your bylaws if you're not going to do that and you're gonna rotate it around.
I believe that is something.
I believe your bylaws
The
with that.
secretary, this is just to make sure that we have minutes covered,
Right.
because nobody is.
So don't call them a secretary.
Let's make this awesome. Yeah. You think a lot.
Can you have more than one secretary?
I don't think your bylaws allow, but just change your bylaws, if that's what you wanna do. I just, listening to this, most bylaws say a chairperson and a secretary, so I'm assuming, I don't have it in front of me, I'm assuming that's what yours say. And if they do, then, and you wanna rotate it, just change your bylaws.
Well, it's gotta be an action item in January on the agenda to change the bylaws before we
Right,
can start rotating.
okay, that's a good point. So we'll make note to add that to the agenda in January.
But we can just, make a motion that Wendy take the minutes in January
I'll be secretary in January.
until the secretary is elected.
No, not until,
Oh.
no, the bylaws are changed.
And the bylaws are changed.
So we'd like to move that just for the January regular meeting, that Commissioner Cambridge will be responsible for those, that meeting's minutes. I'm being very, very specifically.
Specific
You
stuff,
are,
it's already out there.
you're very detailed.
I don't know. So Commissioner McClellan has moved that for the January regular meeting, Commissioner Cambridge will be taking those minutes because we do not have a secretary currently. We have a second.
I second.
Commissioner Boatright seconds, all in favor? Aye. Passes. Okay. All right.
So. Y'all can say no to this, but why do you say that we, have to go all the way to Spring Branch Middle School? And I never know what the traffic is. What do you say that we, if we got any more action items,
Adjourn.
we adjourn? Y'all mind doing that?
We have a motion to adjourn. Sorry, writing this down.
Oh, I don't think I.
All right, we have a motion to adjourn by Commissioner McClellan,
I second.
seconded by Commissioner Cambridge. All in favor? All right, time is 6:37 PM and we are adjourning.
Like what? I'm just gonna take